Hey people, Infiltrated 53 Faction War. This is Avensa Stronghold and the Imperial Guard versus Chaos Space Marines. For the Blue Guard team, we have Torpid with an Inquisitor offensive hero with powerful control abilities, begins in melee combat but can get specialized ranged weapons. This is the Armageddon Steel Legion elite scheme. Alongside Sergeant Retardo, Aquila is a Lord General, fights in ranged combat, begins with the retinue of stormtroopers, can also add to the retinue really strong defense and support. Goes straight for that central VP. I don't think it's going to be successful, buddy. It's a plague champion right there. But rounding off the blue team is Nachtweilige with a Lord Commissar, strong offense and support, fights in melee combat, begins with a refractor shield. And this guy looks especially pissed off for a Lord Commissar. This is the Mordian Iron Guard elite scheme. Red Chaos fellas, NoRealFilter is a Chaos Lord, durable and destructive hero, walks through objects and cannot be suppressed with powerful offense and disruption, fighting in melee. And double plague champions, first up oLev. We've also got Blackward. These guys start off with a damage over time ranged bolt gun. Can get melee weapons, decent utility and support, can also repair. Inquisitor's going to come and say hello. Chaos Lord though also for some meeting and greeting. Where's the Hammer of the Witches? I guess it's going to go on the Chaos Lord's face. There it is. The stun and the burst of damage. Got double sentinels pushing up here. I don't think they can stop it this early on. Blackward with only double heretics going on, and they're both worshipping each other. And Nachtweilige does not have a sentinel, so they can't really push against it super effectively. Very strange opening on the east side. I wonder what Nachtweilige means. I know Nacht is night. What would Weilige be? Hopefully it's nothing obscene. I'm just thinking of English words that vaguely resemble Whaley. Village? No, that would be Stadt or Dorf, probably. I have no idea. Triple gens up for Blackward. Oh, we've got some grenade launchers. Doing some good work with it, as you can see. Look at that. Guardsmen do not like grenade launchers, it turns out. Torpid taking the spot behind the shot blockers, building some cover. As you can see, you can build one little spot and huddle your guys around it, and depending on where you're attacked from, they can largely benefit from it. There's some pawn worship with a +2 speed. A tunnel war up on both of those CSM. The Inquisitor's going to go down here. He stuck around a little bit too long, that old Inquisitor. And now this, oh, they have the ground pound already, so they should be able to escape safely. Going to get a good stomp here, I think. Boom, there it is. So, Avensa Stronghold then. It was a map I made ages ago now, in like a 4 or 5 day period when I was ill with the flu. And 4 or 5 days for me, very, very quick time to turn around an entire map. Basically just wanted a laned map with lots of chaos and unsafe power. You can see how easy this power is to hit here, although the defending team does have the cover advantage, as you can see. Various cover objects here where the attacking team doesn't really have that. But it's still pretty easy to hit. Plague Champion edging forward some Nurgle worship, as you'd expect. We do have the Medical Sergeant up for Sergeant Retardo. It's kind of half-hearted flank they did here. More of a defensive position, really. Lord Commissar's come over. Doesn't want to fight the terrifying double heretics, apparently. And Havoc's up over there now for Blackward. And they are pushing against that power on the eastern side. Raptors in play from oLev. Completely missing their jump in terms of suppression. Didn't even get it on the secondary little leap there. Chaos Lord, oh, Dark Halo and Harness of Rage. You would expect to see Armor of the Inferno against Imperial Guard, but I guess he's rage-filled today. More so than usual. Patatrons with a shotgun blast from Sergeant Retardo. Good tool to use against these Raptors. They do have power melee damage, so they can rip them up pretty well. And that shotgun blast, of course, with a knockback and suppression. Triple push on this west side. Blackward has an easy time of it. Should in fact be also decapping this wreck point. This is kind of a bad play here. You can't stack your worship either. The only thing that's achieving is worshipping the heretics that are also worshipping. So yeah, inefficient play on the east side, we should say, from Blackward. They should be doing way more with the time and space they have. Decapping this, decapping the VP. Meanwhile, his team's getting tripled over here. The CSM didn't drop a model though. Got Havocs up also for NoRealFilter. Double CSM into Havocs. Pretty solid going against Imperial Guard. Especially in retail, when Guard didn't have spotters. It was typically the way to go against Chaos too, because they didn't have Raptors, of course. Big paradigm shifts in Elite mod. Really opens up a lot of stuff in Tier 1. We have a heavy weapon squad out now for Sergeant Retardo. They have not touched this power yet. Trying to fight off the enemy units first, which is generally the way you want to do it. Fight before you cap or bash. But there are, of course, exceptions. But they even noted this power. Gonna need to retake it. Looks like Sergeant Retardo is helping over here now. They should be able to run through Blackward quite easily, I would think. With the Catechins to disrupt the Havocs. And just shoot the crap out of the Heretics. They die pretty fast. Just 75 hit points out the gate on these guys each. Chaos are edging up the west side. Decap from NoRealFilter. Again, no attempt to bash the power really. A little bit of damage on the node. Oh, Inquisitor's found some Havocs. Gets a good special attack. She's got her Inferno Pistol already in Tier 2. Jeez, didn't even realise they were Tier 2. Nachtweilige also in Tier 2. Blackward goes as well. So Chaos are going to be a little bit behind. oLev is floating here. Quite significantly, actually. That's Indrid level float. Inquisitor barely gets out of there with her health. She did put Judgment up on the Heretics, because that would probably one-shot them if they were bunched up. Raptors with a jump. Didn't appreciate the las gunfire there. Plague Champion takes over that cat, and they are going to steal those generators. Hammer of the Witches on the Inquisitor. Torpid dicing with danger, keeping her out in the field, but makes it work. Catechins with a little bit of suppression from what? The Havocs? A little blast from the Havocs, I think. So they defend their power. Haven't really lost that much either. Although this power has been taken by Chaos. oLev is still not going Tier 2. Look at that flow. Over 1,000 wreck, 220 power. These guys need to run away. It's only light cover there. Havoc's out in the open. But they're doing their job. They're controlling things. Could see a grenade barrage too from these fellas. Yep. oLev's Heretics here. Still not going Tier 2. There we go. Wow. One of the biggest floats I've seen. 250 power. Well over 1,000 requisition before they hit that button. Going to be a little bit behind, although they can pretty much get what they want when they get to Tier 2. Could even go straight Tier 3. They do have quite a big Tier 1 army. It's the time to do it, I think, if you're going to do it. 442 to 391 on the VPs. It's got to be tempting for oLev to go straight Tier 3 now. They have defended the power, I think. Although, have they? Oh, it is. It looks like only a single generator on the map, but there is a full gen farm over there. Chaos Lord pushing up. No sign of the Combi Flamer either. Doesn't want any fire going on, Chaos Lord. He's safety conscious. Node goes down. Plague Champion repairing. Oh, he's not repairing. He's building a heavy bolter turret. Nice wide firing arc on his turret. I've said many times that I think it's bad. It's a bad turret. It's a bad ability to use. It took 2 bursts just to suppress those guardsmen there. It's like it's way worse than just a Havoc squad, and it doesn't have any of the vulnerabilities of it. Well, I guess you can't knock down a turret and stuff, but much rather have Havocs in pretty much every situation, unless it's like really late game and you only have 5 population to spare or something, or you want to really get something up quick. Jump from the Havocs. Against inexperienced players, turrets can be incredibly powerful. Inquisitor gets her Liber Heresius for some energy regen. Manticore Strike from Nachtweilige. Knight something. Knight Warrior? No. Warrior's Krieger or something, I think. Some suppression maybe? Oh, is he breaking suppression? No, he's not. We do have Fight Harder though. Getting awfully close here, these guardsmen. We have Mark of Khorne Havocs. These guys do have their heavy bolter still, although they're kind of messing themselves up by being blocked by the shot blocker there. And Havoc autocannons are insane. So good. Much better than the... Well, not much better. They are better, though, than the heavy weapon squad's autocannons in terms of damage output. These guys can get that awesome shield, though. Meanwhile, in the mid, it's red for Chaos. And that Sentinel doing some work with the missile launcher. Sergeant Retardo's Sentinel. Torpids does not have the missile launcher. Got double Plague Marines for Blackward. Fat armies for Chaos. And again, oLev is floating. Look at this. 900 direct, almost 200 power. And they're not going tier 3. They're not purchasing anything in tier 2. Very odd game from oLev. Inquisitor tries to get the revive, but I think should be able to do it. There we go. Raptors didn't quite have the DPS to scare her off there. Lord Commissar gets stuck in now. Stomp only hits one model, but does some domino knockback in the mid. Lord General Sergeant Retardo. He's trying to take it, and does. Or should. East side, meanwhile, we have a Bane Wolf from Torpid, messing up the power. Puts up a bunker to try and save the Bane Wolf here, but I think it's going to go down. It got 2 gens. And they don't actually have any generators of their own over here on the east side. Okay. Survives because of the Chem Cannon blob of crap, whatever that ability is called, I don't even know. This is a Chimera on the way for Nachtweilige. And Blackward with a Predator tank, and tier 3 finally for oLev. Tier 3 also for NoRealFilter. Big line of cover built here by Nachtweilige. Does have plasma guns too. Look at the autocannon though, tearing through them. Compare this autocannon to the autocannon that's on the Chaos Dreadnought, which is just horrible. It's like I think it's like 17 DPS. The autocannon that's on the Dreadnought, which is just really low. It doesn't do full damage to vehicles either. I mean, it does have a small AoE. Certainly there is that, and if stuff is bunched up, but against stuff like Marines, it's just not good. The 17 DPS, which might not hit all the models, and there's no damage bonus against heavy infantry. Chaos Dreadnoughts out the gate. Very underwhelming for me. We haven't seen any here. It's not terrible. I mean, it's a big lump of hit points that forces your enemy to get AV. And you don't only have the autocannon, remember they have the underslung bolter as well, which is like 20, I think it's like 26 or 28 DPS, the little bolter underneath. But of course it won't harm vehicles and it's got no AoE. It's like on the edge of being useful, that Dreadnought. A little bump in that autocannon's damage, I think, would be nice. Maybe a reduction in cost, but I don't think that would change too much. You typically always get that Dreadnought because you want to get the mark. It's not cheap. We just saw some Plague Marines go down there. Set up by the Excruciators, was it? Yep. Assail ability. Imperial Guard starting to push back. We have a Lightning Claw Chaos Lord. Again, not something you'd expect to see against Imperial Guard, but they're going to taste some lightning now. Imperial Guard, typically you'd see Combi Flamer, Armor of the Inferno, as I said. He's getting stuck in. Maybe against Ogryns he'd go Lightning Claws, or the Hammer thing. Maul. Level 3 Chaos Lord. I mean, he's doing a great job messing up the enemy heroes, that's for sure. Massive DPS against those guys. Look at that. Almost tore apart that Inquisitor there pretty quickly. Bane Wolf is over here now. Chaos Predator has the mark of Nurgle. Of course it does. Pretty damn popular these days. It's so tough. It's so tough. I think there are plans to adjust it slightly. Maybe adjust the health regen a little bit. I think it just has too much health, to be honest. 1,000 health tank, I think, would be reasonable with the health regen and the melee resist and stuff. But I ain't complaining. Let me Nurgle stuff. More Plague Marines on the way for Blackward. oLev again, floating like crazy. 1100 requisition, 200 power-ish. Raptors jumping out of trouble there for oLev. They have their aspiring champion. Been quite quiet in the mid. Most of the action on this west side. But they haven't really bashed this power very much, the red team. Feel like they've been around here a lot. I mean, they've got the opportunity right now to bash it. Unopposed, pretty much. And they're not doing it. Is there a gentleman's agreement to not bash the power? This is a big misplay from the red team. They're not even capping this power. They're not capping this wreck point. You got to stay active in Dawn of War 2. Always got to be doing something with your army. I mean, 3v3s, there is the exception of late game sitting on the contested VP kind of thing. But at this stage, on a map that's compact, you've got to be bashing. They just bashed the generator so quick there. Could have got a full bash quite easily. Ogryns are up, so the Lightning Claws can have some fun against those guys. Go straight after them. They start to tear apart some heretics. That was destructive strike you just saw there from the Lightning Claws. Yeah, Ogryns got messed up and they lost their bonehead leader. Something being dropped in. Is it a Leman Russ? It is Leman Russ from Sergeant Retardo. This is Bloodlust from the Chaos Space Marines. No, not Bloodlust. What's that thing called? I've forgotten. I've forgotten the name of that ability now. Bloodlust is the Chaos Lord's global. Leman Russ is under threat. Double Plague Marines and a Chaos Predator, although the Nurgle autocannon doesn't do a huge amount of damage to vehicles. Double Plague Marines can just chase it into base though, maybe. I mean, Leman Russ has 1200 hit points of its own, but it is an expensive tank. Great Unclean One is up here for oLev. He's remembered how to spend his resources, you guys. Can he finish off the... Yep, they can. Finish off the Sentinel. Then it goes... Slaughter. Slaughter is the name of that ability, I believe, from the Chaos Space Marines. It just came to me. Yep, just sitting in base shooting stuff. The tank is going to go down. You shouldn't have brought the tank here. There's the nuke, though. Chaos Terminators are in there, even. And that is a nuke from oLev, I believe. Well, maybe it's Blackward. It was one of the Nurgle fellas. You can tell by all the green. These Terminators are getting messed up, though. Yeah, it probably was oLev, since Blackward just killed his own Terminators, if that was him. That's amazing. Friendly nuke, completely wiping out Chaos Terminators there. The Predator tank also went down. It's a very clumsy push from Chaos. They did get the VP. They have the triple. And they did really mess up Sergeant Retardo, and Nachtweilige is down to 2 units now. Night, winter, maybe? It's any word that begins with W I'm thinking of. I don't think winter is Whaley, though. I don't know what winter is, actually, in German. Are you going to get away, fellas? Chaos Space Marines level 3. They should be okay. More Chaos Terminators, this time from NoRealFilter. Maybe they have better luck than the others. Swallowed up by the Imperial Abyss. Here's the Great Unclean One. Superunit for Chaos Space Marines. Powerful in melee, as you may expect. Also passively damages nearby enemies, although I think it's only piercing damage. So vehicles aren't really threatened by it. And has some nasty abilities too. Can consume friendly units to regain some energy, because he's got quite a lot of abilities to use. That was the Bane Wolf going down, was it? They retained the VP. Blue team got the mid back. Leman Russ is sitting there too, with a Vanquisher. NoRealFilter now getting some Chaos Space Marine, Havocs. They did lose some stuff there on that little push. 182 to 259 on the VPs. VP lead for Chaos. Don't want to do anything rash. What is this? It's just Guardsmen capping. They have Plasma Gun and their Commissar and stuff, though. Oh, just ripped apart a Sentinel in melee. Okay, I think that thing had the missile launcher as well, didn't it? I imagine they weren't stomped because they already used the stomp. There's the Foul Snare from the Great Unclean One. One of the most buggy abilities in the game. It always seems to fail on the first use. Well, often seems to fail. They did try to clean it up a little bit in 293 and 294, which I'm sure helped somewhat. But some of the targeted abilities in this game are buggy. lot of it to do, I think, with like rotation and stuff. Seems to mess with things. I don't know. It's just weird. Ogrins did push through. Need to find something to fight for. I'm not sure why you're chasing that guy still. There you go, turn around. Fight some stuff. Great Unclean One soaking up this piercing DPS quite easily, although the autocannon is doing some damage. Speaking of autocannons, here's one from oLev. Ripping through stuff, as it does. Any war gear for the Plague Champions. Nothing for oLev, nothing for Blackward. Come on now. Come on now, you guys. Level 5 Inquisitor. Still the melter guns there, and Lord Commissar with Aura of Discipline. Helps out his Ogrins quite a lot with those heals. Great Unclean One's starting to feel some pain now. Well, I'm sure he doesn't feel anything, but his health's going down noticeably. That is a big lump of Nurgle Vomit. Those guys had a bad day, and they got wiped. Really bad day. Or was that, or maybe that was a Commissar retinue guy? Not from a Guardsman squad, I'm not sure. Yeah, Space Marines level 4 with Mark of Khorne. Those guys are scary. Up over 2,000 hit points, that sweet spot for a melee unit. If it's like 4 or 5 models, get that 2,000 hit points. There's Excruciators on the Chaos Space Marines. Does damage and locks them in place, but you do need to channel the ability. LOL. NoRealFilter. Oh, just lost some stuff, I guess. Baneblade on the way, says Torpid. Great Unclean One down to almost half hit points now. Yeah, it's pretty much at half hit points now. There's a shrine behind the shot blocker and it's being worshipped. And there's some regular Nurgle worship too. So lots of heals and reinforcement of the shrine since they're worshipping it. Will also suppress enemy infantry if they get close. It's a pretty good shrine, I think. Maybe makes up for his lackluster turret. Now this might be a good place to put the turret. You could cover the entirety of the mid. You've got a lot of support here. This is the kind of time and place you want to put the turret down. And you can upgrade it into the fantastic las cannon turret, which is amazing. Sentinel doesn't want to go in there. Level 4 Sentinel from Torpid. Level 6 Inquisitor. NoRealFilter down to just 2 units. Blackward down to triple Plague Marines. And that is it. And here's your Baneblade. Big old tank bristling with guns. Demolisher cannon at the front there, which you can fire using a targeted ability. The big old main battle cannon, which will fire by itself these days in Elite mod. Las cannons, some heavy bolters, twin links. All sorts of good stuff. It's very vulnerable to powerful heavy melee squads though. If they could get on the rear of it, do those rear armor hits. But if you want some fire support, this thing's not a bad call. Can it be kept alive? We often see it just thrown into danger. Got to keep it behind everything else pretty much. Behind your army, just shooting away. You don't want it taking damage. It's not a Great Unclean One that stomps at the front of your army. Leman Rust there, very low. Speaking of stomping at the front of your army, it's taking a lot of damage here, this Great Unclean One. These guys have plasma guns, which it is weak to. Rocket Run, which hits some friendly Ogrins. Got rid of the stuff that was worshipping though. Here's a flank from Blackward. Not sure how effective it's going to be with triple Plague Marines though. Leman Rust is being repaired somewhere, I imagine. Yep, it is. What is this? Is this more Terminators? It is. Chaos Terminators for Blackward. Put themselves in a pretty bad position. There's an Imperial Abyss from NoRealFilter. No real danger though to it. Baneblade just rolls on through. 25 to 235. Imperial Guard trying to come back here, and they have a good chance. Setting up decently well in the mid with a Baneblade and a Leman Rust. Need to watch their natural, of course, which the Chaos team should be harassing as much as possible now. With these guys, maybe Mark of Khorne CSM do have decent foot speed. Being fought off the mid again, I think. Yes, plasma everywhere now. Good grenade going in too. There's another rocket run. Pretty good. NoRealFilter now down to just Chaos Terminators. And only 2 of them. And they cost 50 power to reinforce those guys. Pretty crazy. GG, says NoRealFilter. Is that it? Have they broken the Chaos team? They still have a great and clean one. They still have 3 Terminator squads. They still have a pretty powerful Chaos Lord. Did level up well. Level 6. Late Champion's got absolutely nothing, although oLev is down. Maybe he did get something. Wonder if it would have been different. Triple cap now. Would have been different if oLev teched up faster. Because they could have got like double blood crushers on the field really fast. If they teched up or got the tank really fast. Might have been able to put a lot of pressure on. They didn't bash this power enough to. Double cap here still. There's the Assail again. Level 7 Inquisitor. Some Kashyyykin died there. Great Empty One's back, but this is a lot of firepower to face. There's the Vomit. Well, it seems like it was mostly dodged. Didn't even get a knockback on it. Although, they have knockback immunity. It was the Flak Jacket, so I think it did hit them. Noxious Cloud here. Great Empty One getting torn apart. There's no Sorcerer to save him. Gonna go down. No way he can get out of this. Thrown in Desperation, but should have pushed alongside the rest of his army. And didn't. Now some Terminators trying to cap. Being torn apart by ranged fire. They're not going to last long. Teleported away, you guys. 50 hit points. They did survive. Imperial Guard getting the Eastern VP again. Ogryn survived. Oh, look at this. They're buffed up. Aura of Discipline. We have the None Shall Fall from the Fist of Brockus. Terminators survived. And they did grab the enemy natural. I think it was a Chaos Lord who did it. Decap the power too. Bit late for that though. We're already facing a Baneblade. Triple Kashyyykin from Sergeant Retardo, all with plasma guns. That is a lot of DPS. And I think, yeah, a bunch of the guards will have plasma guns too. So much plasma. Does the job. Really does the job. Messes up Terminators really badly, and the Great Unclean One. And of course, all the Marines. There's the triple cap. And I think it's going to be enough. Chaos just kind of capitulated here. Some strange decisions, like early on, Blackward had the opportunity to do way more with their time and space, and they didn't do it. Just little things like that add up. Didn't bash the power on the west side enough, as I said. That decap was way too late. And some late teching from oLev too. Good grenade. Didn't get a kill. Pretty unlucky there, Torpid. 25 to 21. Red team need a miracle. They need like an insane nuke, and none of them have nukes. I don't think it's going to happen for him. Big champion though. Got the Armor of Pestilence really late. Did not get the Plague Fists, none of them. A great capping tool that really helps in the mid of Avensa. Massive firefight at the end. But it's a 2-to-1 cap, and they can't grab that central VP in time. There's Purgatus from the Inquisitor. And there's the game. Frantic ending to a frantic game. Strong start from Chaos. But yeah, some mistakes along the way. That push into base as well, where they lost Terminators and lost the tank. They did get a decent nuke in there, but that was kind of sloppy. Just mistakes were made, you know. But look at that for it ended. Pretty cool. There you have it, guys. Big thanks to the players for sending this in. Not sure how it was organised or what, or if it just came about naturally. But thank you too for watching, and I'll see you next time.